Welcome back, subscribers. I'm going to talk a little bit more about uh, digital assets at Duke, the things that I basically like an overview of what I put together, and the reasons why we have the private environment. Um, so my biggest concern with this is that, especially after my experience at this conference at Duke a couple of weeks ago, is that we are way ahead of the curve. Now, if I make it public of what um, I know that the public environment is I'd said this in one of my other videos. I said that it's like it gets like a feeding frenzy. Like people they find the videos and then they distort them, and we're into like having like real human, undistorted environment of knowledge. It's important to keep the knowledge clean and pure, and that's the reason why we have the site, and have everything private. Um, so what I talk about in here is um, it's kind of a sales tool. Like I'm giving an overall warning, I guess, but I'm giving an option. Like we have like actual actionable elements that will teach you, what's going on, so that you can keep yourself at a better position. Whether or not you're in crypto or not, it really doesn't matter. This is going to affect everybody. Um, so if I come out and say something publicly, it's not only the vultures that are going to abuse and distort the information. Um, it accelerates. I guess you'd call it accelerates the timeline, if you will. So we know this because we're also into some other we're also into kind of the weird, like kind of paranormal stuff too. We basically use any type of signal or something that is indicating where things are going to create opportunities for yourself in the future. So um, I'm I'm like I don't know, a pattern recognition guy. Like I've always seen these patterns and things, and the way that my mind works is it puts together like all these little pieces and parts, and then I think everybody's doing this. Like life is just like a big puzzle. But whenever you go and you take this information, when you make a discovery uh that's part of kind of like this world order changeover, there's a reason why, and we know this because we have experience with like, you know members in secret societies and such. I'm not, but I've been I've been around them, and I know how they work, and I know the rules, and I know that they keep their cards in the chest for a reason, because on one side of the coin, they're trying to hold and hamper that knowledge material to keep it for themselves, but then they also they want to be able to use it as like, they want to basically like guide the ship in the direction that they see fit is necessary, right? And but we have like a timeline element to this, all right? And meaning that even for me personally, I don't know if I'm even like 100% in the clear with being, totally compliant with our business and everything else. Like, the reason why I'm doing this is because I have concerns, because the more I keep digging into this, I'm like, this is an absolute shit show. So if I come out publicly and talk about what I know, it's ultimately going to accelerate the, the rug pulling effect. Like the more people, like right now, how social media is set up is like information is traded so fast, right? And if if I say something and people start like looking into this, and then they realize like it's legit, or if you haven't had the experiences, you're not going to have any way to corroborate it. There's absolutely no way to do it, because somebody would have had to have gone through it, and then basically had the background, like I said, in real estate, and understand contracting, and uh, yeah, the legal side of this, and then what's at stake. Okay, and what's at stake is really that there's a lot of energy behind this move over to this digital system, and they don't want to screw it up. They could basically like switch it on and switch everything all over, and like, I know it's ready. I know that they're ready to do it, but they're essentially kind of letting it play out. They're slow movers, and the reason is like they're waiting for the the masses to become aware. And whenever they become aware, I don't know how this works. We've studied this, and it's got like some kind of Bob Monroe Loosh element to it, that they want maximum pain on people. That the longer that they push something out, it's like an orgasm. That's the best way I can describe it. Like an energetic orgasm, where if you edge for, let's say, maybe you're a lot of man, you can do it for 2 hours. Okay, so maybe it's like an hour, right? And you're just edging, 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 and then finally it's release. It's tension, 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 release. All right. And whoever is behind this, whenever these big global changes happen, it is like this kind of surprise, aha, epiphany moment, of shock, and the more that you can keep, holding back and holding back and holding back, and you finally release it, it releases more energy. And in order to get that effect, you have to keep everyone in the dark. All right. So if it's private information, I'm doing it basically to protect us. Okay. Because if this material gets out to the population, and it starts getting spread all over the place. I mean, I'm not talking about my videos. I'm just talking about like somebody else like gets a hold of that information. Like if I said something, publicly, and then somebody starts kind of regurgitating it and making it their own, but they don't really know what the hell they're talking about. And that's why we're doing everything like stripped, because I'm not spending a lot of time on editing. I mean, these are just raw videos. I'm not spending time on editing. I'm not spending time on AI, YouTube, any of it, any of the production stuff. I'm like, the hell with it. You know what? It doesn't really matter, because it's on merit and with what we know. And if I came out and just said it and went like the YouTube route and tried to, just like, I'm going to do YouTube videos and set it up that way, it's going to accelerate the changes coming. And the longer it stays out there, it gives us more time to position ourselves. Okay. And the more information I have and the more interviews that I can do with people, it identifies the steps necessary. So like, how can I put this? Like, if you're in a relationship and you ever get into a situation with whether business, it could be a love relationship, whatever else, and something, you're pretty sure that um, definitively the whatever the you send an investigator out, and you don't want, you want to have the confrontation, but you would really, 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 really want to know. You want the person just basically to step in a huge pile of shit. Um, that's that's basically what it looks like, that they have there's something that's going on right now. I don't know if people have noticed this, is that they're running the general population down these roads, and they keep like rug pulling them in a way that gets you to believe one thing, and then some whistleblower comes out and then tells you, well, actually, no, it actually happened this way, right? And they continue to keep doing this. And I did a video about the alchemical mind, and the essentially what's happening. Um, that's that's I don't know. It's like it's a tactic that's always used inside of this kind of gaming that happens between human beings, and they're doing it on a worldwide level. All right. And the ones that are controlling it, that know about this, it's not just the mainstream notables, that you'll see on, MSNBC or CNN. It's even larger than that. I'm talking like root family level. Like, they're like excited to see what's going to happen and how the humans are going to scramble around whenever they actually like rip the Band-Aid off, and make them have to, do business differently, and see the ones that are, leaning in the wrong direction, and they like it. It's like seeing like animals scurry or something. It's incredibly sadistic, but after doing business for like 30 years, I kind of get it in a way where, again, if you tell employees, which would be everybody that's on the planet that's like following these rules and everything, if you tell them what's going on, they won't do it. They won't do it. And then you won't see any of this activity. They want to see like a new renaissance. They want to see like, we're going to hold everybody back, and then we're going to release all this information and see who runs with it, and how many people just like puke in their shoes because they're just absolutely freaked out. And that's a lot of the material that we talk about when it comes to financial stuff. And this total gameplay, I guess, that they're doing. Yeah, if I come out with it like public, and like I'm not some whistleblower. It's not like I'm some like Whitney Webb, Catherine Austin Fitz type, or you know uh, whoever's out there running their doing their normal YouTube rounds with everybody that they know, and be like, well, what have you done? Are you actually moving these coins? Have you done business with these people? Do you know what they're looking for? Do you know like how this whole system is set up right currently right now? They can scare and fairmonger everybody, but I guarantee you they don't really know. It's being drip fed into them. They're just a spokesman, a focal point. Our stuff is like, I'm just trying to set up a networking environment with people that can actually get real information. Like once you understand what's going on and you go do your regular everyday job, that you're going to start seeing these elements of these changes behind the scenes that you're required to do. We're already starting to see it with digitation, two-party authentication. I talk about this all the time, just getting into your email and so on and so on. There's a reason for that. And it's not because of your security, all right? That's not the reason why it's there, but it's not necessarily a bad thing, all right? But it's part of the new system. It is a benchmark, fundamental, foundational element of the new system. Okay, is this knowing who you are, where you are, what terminal that you're on, your IP address, and all that. 100%. They want to know because they want to know where basically every dollar and every ounce of everything is going. And if people are not going to be able to just say, I lost something, or we can't find that document, like, nah, that shit's out the window. Like it's 100% accountability. And I'll tell you, in Washington, they must absolutely be freaking the out because that whole town is run on this deception. And when they come to the realization that I bet most of them don't even really know the extent of this, that the party is absolutely over. All right. And that's a good thing, right? But everybody's going to have to play by the new rules. It's not just, the citizens. So I'm afraid that if I come out and I say something that is, if it was already in the mainstream, then that's one thing. But I'm not the head of the spear to go dump this information out and get it on the mainstream because again, um, if you've been reading the between the lines and you understand how these guys do business, it would have already been out there, 100%. That's what I said when I went to Duke. I was assuming that they already knew what I knew. I'm like, how can I, little old me, know these elements and put all these little pieces and parts together and say like, well, like this is kind of the end game. Like I'm fine because we're moving towards it. So we're going to be, moving into the system early. But in order to be in that space, I've already compensated for that. So basically by me holding it back and not identifying it, it's like, yeah, you can find it. You can, like I said, you can come to our site and noodle around and figure it out. Or like send me an email and be like, what the hell's going on? Like I'm XYZ invested. I need to make sure that, I'm going to be able to actually capitalize on this in the future. Like what is it you really know? And, stop beating around the bush. That's what it is. It just expedites it. And again, if I come out and I say something, it's going to accelerate the timeline because if it which it will, when people catch on to it and they know that it's a real thing, then they'll just pull the plug. And then I don't really want to see that happen. Like I said, I want things to be like, I'm doing it at my pace. I'm not in any rush to be able to get the material out and then archive it. Like basically where I'm at right now is in the site, we're 99% sure we know what's going on. And all we're doing is bolstering it, by having conversations, because now I know what's going on. I can have, when I have conversations, I interview people, the questions that are being asked are specifically gauged towards this final destination, if you will. And it just it gives more validity to the finished product. But again, it's not like some finish line. It's that when you move into this new system, you're going to be required to like keep up on stuff that like your proper accounting and all of that. So I don't even like it. I'm looking at it like as far as somebody in business, like, I've run my business like pretty loose. I'll be honest with you. Like, I'm the guy like who's, the accountant's up his ass because I don't have my documentation in and stuff. Like it's done. It's just, but I just, I'm not like ultra German, or Dutch on it. I just, I, I like, I like variance. I like there to be a little bit of gray area in it. And I know that the new system isn't really going to allow any for that. So I'm just like, oh man, I got to like grow up. This sucks. So anyway, that's the reason why we have the site, because again, it keeps the riffraff out. It keeps people that are serious about moving forward and networking inside of that space, and carving out new territory, which is you need people that are proactive towards doing it. It's not for public consumption, because if not everybody's going to use it, like I said, it's just going to go out in the public forum and then just get distorted like crazy, and it's garbage. So there's a systematic approach to it and things that you basically are going to have to do. And yeah, so anyway, that's the reason why we're doing it that way. I've just been in business long enough to know that anytime you get into a new market, it's full of vultures, and those rats and snakes and vultures they're hiding and lurking, and you just if you I didn't realize of how valuable the material was until I went to Duke. I'll say that. So, but again, you got a lot of time. So, you know, it's the premier side. It's like it's $100 a month. Be like it's nothing, and then you can go in there and gorge yourself and listen, to the things, and then, and then wait for the other material to come out, or you can comp it. And once you understand what I'm driving at, and you have an understanding of how this works, you can have a conversation. We can have a conversation. I can publish it, and then I'll just comp it, because I'm more interested in the knowledge and the information than I am about making money. I'll flat out. So anybody out there is like, oh, you're just trying to make money. Be like, no, I just need information. I need quality information. And I've created a filtration system to enable that to happen. So at any rate, that's the way we're doing it. And people are going to be into it, and some people aren't. And that's just the way it is. So cheers, more to come.